Straight ahead on CCX News, the experience of a lifetime on America's biggest stage. We'll meet the Maple Grove dancers who were part of it. Plus, a crystal visit from the World War II veteran who did the Super Bowl coin toss, what he hopes to accomplish. And we're getting closer to the opening of Brooklyn Park's first tap room. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The Super Bowl halftime show had Justin Timberlake and a tribute to Prince, not to mention several local high school dance teams.
Reporter Sonia Goins has more on their once-in-a-lifetime experience.
This is when we were waiting before the show at Fair State Fairgrounds.
Members of the Maple Grove dance team are still feeling the high from the Super Bowl halftime show.
It was so cool. The experience was like unreal.
I think it was probably the craziest thing I've ever done.
You couldn't miss the team. They were the ones wearing the bright colored jackets.
This was us when we actually performed.
They glowed with pride as they strutted their stuff while singer Justin Timberlake performed.
He's walking down the ramp and I'm like 5 feet, and it's crazy because like he's right there, and like that point I'm like, wow, this is actually real now.
The team had several dance scenes.
We were in the very beginning with everyone jumping around. That was us. And then when mirrors came, we had like the props above our heads.
They also got to meet the pop star.
So he was at most of our practices. He like talked with us. He was saying like how grateful he was that we were there.
To add to the excitement, the girls had to keep their performance a big secret for a whole month. They couldn't even tell their siblings.
They said that if they saw like anything, like any posts on social media or anything, that they would like remove the whole entire team from the Super Bowl.
Today the girls are rock stars among their classmates as they shared their Super Bowl experience.
These are the bands that we got before we went on to perform at the Super Bowl.
Representing their school during the Super Bowl halftime is something they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
There's been nothing really like that to that scale that our school has done. So I was super proud to be able to say I was from Maple Grove and to be able to show that to everyone.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
And the Wayzata and Hopkins dance teams were also part of that halftime performance. The man who tossed the coin before Sunday's Super Bowl game says it is something that he will never forget.
And today in Crystal, Herschel Williams made a pitch of a different kind. As a World War II veteran, he's working to help families deal with loss.
Oh, what a thrill. It was one of those one time in a lifetime that you'll never have an opportunity to do again.
If Medal of Honor recipient Herschel Woody Williams looks familiar, it's because you probably saw him flip the coin for the Super Bowl on Sunday night.
Tossing the coin tonight is World War II veteran Herschel Woody Williams.
My heart was running about 69 miles an hour, and oh, it was a thrill, absolutely. Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Williams went from a racing heart in front of millions of viewers
If you say Marine, it looks like you're smiling.
to a subject that's close to his heart.
We need to pay back to contribute something to our country.
Williams spoke in Crystal, urging the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Quad Cities group to establish a Gold Star family monument for families who have lost loved ones in battle.
Most communities of any size have folk who've made the sacrifice.
31 Gold Star family monuments have been dedicated around the country. This would be the first in Minnesota.
Sacrifices are difficult to talk about, but they happen, and then we as a society just let it go. It sort of passes on and we don't do much about it.
For the Quad Cities Beyond the Yellow Ribbon group, it's the first step.
Just a place for families to be able to go to honor their loved ones that served in the military.
If the project moves forward, they would have to find a location and raise the funds.
We're going to put together a core committee of volunteers in our community to start the process to bring the memorial to our quad communities.
Williams received the Medal of Honor in 1945 and says helping families honor loved ones killed in battle seems to be his calling.
I say, why me? Why did I get to stay? And maybe this is the purpose.
The Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Quad Cities group includes Robbinsdale, New Hope, Crystal, and Golden Valley, and they expect the planning and fundraising to take about 2 years.
In other news, Brooklyn Park Police are warning residents about scammers pretending to be the police. Police say some residents have received phone calls from a number that's changed to look like it is coming from the police department. It is a scam technique that's called spoofing. The caller says you owe the IRS money. Of course, the police or the IRS never make threatening calls demanding immediate payment.
Minnesota's primary caucuses are scheduled for Tuesday night, the first step in the political campaign year.
This is your opportunity to get involved in your neighborhood, in your community, and to start to make a difference. It's for you to be able to sort of have your voice heard in ways that are different than just going to vote on Election Day.
According to political expert David Schultz, just 5 to 7% of the population typically shows up to caucus. A caucus is a series of grassroots meetings where the DFL and Republican parties choose party officers and delegates, endorse candidates, and take a stand on issues that could become part of the party platform.
So you really do have that opportunity to be able to have an imprint, an impact. So it is about what? 100% of life is showing up, because if you don't show up, somebody else is, and they're going to speak for you, or guess what? They're not going to speak for you. They're going to speak for themselves, and you're shut out of the process.
And Professor Schultz says that in presidential election years, more people tend to attend caucuses than in other election cycles. Well, people who start their own business must have a great product and great belief that their product will sell.
An entrepreneur who is one of the owners of Blue Wolf Brewing, set to open in Brooklyn Park, has both. Reporter Shannon Slatton gives us a sneak peek inside the new brewery and tap room.
At the soon-to-be-open Blue Wolf Brewing Company, what you see is what you get. From tanks to taps, it's all right here for customers to see every part of the brewing process.
And we want that intimate relationship with our customers. I've taught people to brew for many, many years, and I don't want to lose that as we go into the professional world.
Mike Campbell is one of 3 owners. This brewery and tap room is his dream come true.
I want to do this because I've been brewing for over 20 years at home, and this has been a dream for over 15 years to get something going.
It took almost a year to turn this old Hollywood video store into Brooklyn Park's first brewery. There have been delays, but now it's almost there.
It's been a long journey, but I just have a passion for making the beer. I love the process of making the beer.
Mike hopes to eventually have 8 brews on tap. He describes his style as a traditional or historic type brewer who strives for simplicity and quality.
We're going to have English bitters available, which is the English version of a pale ale. We're going to have German style beers. We want beers that are just easy drinking, where people can sit, tell a story, talk to one another.
Like most tap rooms, people can bring food in or order it from nearby restaurants. The hope is Blue Wolf Brewing Company becomes an easy place to gather with friends and try something new.
Exactly. Be open-minded with what you're trying, because I will tell people you will find beers that you enjoy drinking, even though it may be a beer you've never thought you would enjoy.
In Brooklyn Park, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
If everything goes according to plan, Mike hopes to start brewing this week, which means the first batch would be ready to go in mid-February, and that's when he will open his doors. Still ahead, the kind of restaurant Brooklyn Park residents have been hoping to see more of.
Plus, Champlin Park looks to knock off Park Center in a big boys basketball matchup. That's later in sports.
But first, possibly the coldest weather in the entire country on Tuesday. Highs only in the single digits. We'll be right back.
They have the meats, now they have the wings. Today, Arby's restaurant group closed on its merger deal with Golden Valley-based Buffalo Wild Wings. The merger will result in a new privately held company with a new name, Inspire Brands. The new entity will seek to gobble up different fast food and fast casual restaurants in case customers lose their appetite for a certain concept. Small taco chain Our Taco is part of Inspire Brands. It's no secret Brooklyn Park has been working hard to attract new restaurants.
And now one of its newer locally owned restaurants is starting to pick up some steam with good reviews. In this week's Business Matters, we discovered why Gramsky's is exactly the kind of restaurant Brooklyn Park would like to see more of.
At
At Gramsky's in Brooklyn Park, sandwich shop owner Jeanette Nevels isn't afraid to tell you what sets her place apart.
It's the Iowa flair.
Born and raised in Iowa, Jeanette's country-style cooking pays homage to her roots with menu items such as a pork tenderloin sandwich.
The Iowa pork. Yep.
And there's Iowa State Fair recipes, including an Italian grinder sandwich you must order 24 hours in advance. Jeanette does not do soggy sandwiches.
Everything is just fresh, and you have to come in and order, and then I make it.
Jeanette admits her restaurant location is challenging. It's hard to see tucked back in a strip mall near Festival Foods.
This is where I had to start because I didn't have a lot of money, but it seems to be working.
Heavy Table magazine recently gave Gramsky's a glowing review, calling the fried catfish perfectly cooked and not the least bit greasy. Good reviews and word of mouth go a long way for an independent restaurant.
People tend to only notice when some big chain comes because they put all the marketing dollars. And you know, when you have a mom and pop store, they don't have $1 million to throw at the marketing. It's word of mouth, and so it takes longer to build that up.
This year, the city of Brooklyn Park will step up its efforts to attract new restaurants of all varieties. It's lowering fees for business owners and working with brokers who pick restaurant sites.
It's a misnomer to think that a restaurant wants to be the only restaurant. Restaurants like to be around other restaurants because they tend to drive off each other. Somebody goes there and they go, it's too busy, let's go over here.
Back at Gramsky's, the restaurant name is a nod to grandsons who call Jeanette Graham. Her big job is getting others to know the restaurant name, and she's confident one visit is all it takes.
Oh, I know they'll be back. Yeah.
And according to the mayor, Brooklyn Park is averaging between 5 to 10 new restaurants a year. Still ahead, the city of Plymouth's way of embracing the bold north.
But first, Champlin Park battles Armstrong-Cooper for a conference title in boys hockey. John Jacobson has the highlights next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Northwest Suburban Conference is split into two divisions in most sports. In boys hockey, only crossover division games remain, meaning Saturday's tilt between Armstrong-Cooper and Champlin Park was for the West Division Championship. Falcons won it last season, and the Rebels score early. Jeff Rylance with a shot and sneaks through the goalie's pads, and Aiden Grant on the backside bangs it home. It's 1-0 Champlin Park just 2 minutes into the game. The Wings answer as Eric Schneider fights off a check. He'll skate into the Rebels zone. His shot from the slot finds the back of the net. And it's a 1-1 game after a period. Champlin Park breaks the tie in the second period. Derek Roberts with a shot to the goalie's glove side and in. And it's 2-1 Rebels. Later in the second, Roberts wins a race to the puck in the wing zone. He slides a great pass over to Grant, who shoots and scores. That goal makes it 3-1. Champlin Park adds one more in the third period to make it 4-1, lifting the Rebels to the championship of the West Division of the Northwest Suburban Conference.
This is unbelievable to see all the seniors win this. We did it for them, and this is just one of our goals, though, and we hope to keep going forward.
You know, it feels great. You know, over the summer we're really working hard. We're taking sprints on the outside. You know, we're lifting, we're really going hard, so it's really good to see our hard work paying off.
Now to girls hockey, where the regular season wrapped up over the weekend for most teams as they tuned up for playoff competition. Wayzata with back-to-back home games Friday and Saturday. Friday against Rochester Lourdes. Great save by Trojans goalie Grace Boswell-Healy, robbing Elizabeth Arndt on that chance. Trojans will break a scoreless tie in the second period. Alexa Osseo on the pass from Sophie Urban, and it's 1-0 Trojans 9 minutes into the second period. Rochester will come back and tie it up. This shot in for a goal, and that's a 1-1 game. First minute of the third period, Wayzata's Mackenzie Schneider will get the pass ahead to Gretchen Branton, and Branton will sneak a shot into the Eagles' net here. Wayzata has the lead for good at 2-1. And they'll score a short time later. It's a power play goal. Osseo sliding the pass to Emily Wisniewski, and she scores. That makes it 3-1. Trojans also won Saturday. They're now 17-7-1. In boys basketball, rivals Park Center and Champlin Park went head-to-head in a Northwest Suburban Conference crossover game. This one on the Pirates' home court. Park Center sophomore Dane Danger drives, throws down the dunk here for PC. Josiah Strong in a big game for Champlin Park. He hits a three, and it's 31-23 Rebels. Strong will drive and score for a 10-point lead. He had 18 points in the first half. Ari Broadway with a three for Park Center. Champlin Park, though, leads at 42-36 at the break. Strong drives, and he'll score with the left hand here. And Jared Walter will hit a three-pointer for the Rebels, and they start to take control early in the second half. But the Pirates would come back. DJ Purnell gets the rebound, put back, and foul, cutting the Champlin Park lead to just one. Jarius Cook then hits a big three for the Pirates. He scores 24 points. Anybody's game with 3 minutes left. Bennett Otto drains a huge three-pointer for the Rebels, putting them up 82-79 with under a minute to play. Pirates on the break, a chance to tie or take the lead. A great defensive play by Otto there. He gets the steal, and that seals it. Champlin Park wins 86-81. They added an overtime win over Wayzata on Saturday. In girls basketball, Cooper leads the Metro West Conference. They're rated #1 in the state in Class 3A. The Hawks took on one of the other top teams in the Metro West when they hosted St. Louis Park. TT Longs drives and zips a pass across to Jada Buford for an open three and an early 7-2 Hawks lead. Asia Wheeler with a crossover dribble. She gets all the way to the bucket for the layup on her way to a 14-point game. Longs gets another assist, sending it to freshman Andrea Tribble for a three. Hawks very efficient offensively in the first half of this game. In transition, it's Wheeler dumping it inside Arthel Massaquoi for two, and it's 35-23 Cooper. Late in the first half, Longs drives, kicks it back out to Tribble, who scores and beats the buzzer. Cooper leads by 8.5, and they roll in the second half, and they win it big, 77-48. Live boys hockey tonight, Monday on CCX, as Maple Grove hosts St. Michael Albertville. That's at 7 o'clock. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, John. Still ahead, the Festival of Two Extremes.
And the Plymouth celebration that blends fire and ice when we come back.
Well, finally, a festival in a deep freeze held on a frozen lake.
Needless to say, the 29th Plymouth Fire and Ice Festival was a chilly one at Parker's Lake Park. The kids, though, didn't seem to mind. They enjoyed everything from recycle bin races to ice bowling to mini golf on ice. Of course, this year's festival was inspired by Super Bowl 52, but the most popular spot by the end of the night was a seat by the fire where families could warm up and enjoy s'mores, fire dancers, and fireworks. And that's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we leave you with more fireworks lighting up the night sky at the Plymouth Fire and Ice Festival. Enjoy.